My name is Joni Roinila. I've been with Teleste for a decade now, and most of that time dealing with different distributed access systems, mainly with remote PHY. And today I will go through our remote PHY offering, complete offering we have on the remote PHY nodes. First one was this DAN 300, kind of like a migration phase node. It still has RF overlay on the forward path, but apart from that, it's a full RPD node. Then we have this DAN 3, more compact node, a pure RPD node, if you will, with no overlays anymore. Then for the bigger ones, we have this AC 9400, a traditional HFC node, which can be then upgraded to an RPD node. So you can simply replace the lead from the traditional node with an RPD lead, and then that becomes an RPD node. But of course, since it's still an HFC node, you can still have this analog overlay both for upstream and downstream. And then this big coffin style icon node, that's mainly for the US market. And then we have also this remote PHY shelf, DAS, also here on display. And I will now focus a little bit on the ones that we have on display. First, this DAN 3, based on this first generation Broadcom chipset. We can have it in either 1x1 or 1x2 service groups. We have 2 physical RF ports and 1 active output. So then you can decide whether you want to have an even, uneven split or just use 1 RF port, whatever you like. It's quite compact, as you see from the dimensions, UMAX 116. So this has been really popular in these MDU installation cases. If you have an MDU, you put one of these in the basement and it can handle the whole building really nicely. The power consumption here, 58 to 61, a little bit depending, do you have power save on or off, how many channels we use. And then we also have this extended hold up time option, which I will describe later on. Here's more in detail the actual RPD module that DAN 3 uses. So the hardware and software is fully built by Teleste. So we really control everything in the node, including this RPD module. We have 2 10 gigabit interfaces here, second one used for redundancy purposes. As the standard says, we operate with the PTP for timing, and for the general stuff, we have full spectrum downstream up to 1.2, so this is a DOCSIS 3.1 node with 6 OFDMs, 120 QAM channels. For upstream, we go up to 204, as the DOCSIS 3.1 specifies. Then if you still require some legacy stuff for out-of-band, we have 3 downstream and 3 upstream out-of-band blocks. Some examples could be FM radio, or if you still use, or if you want to use some VIAVI system that requires out-of-band, HMS telemetry, anything legacy, basically. Then we have pilots, leakage tones, 4 individual high-precision tones, but typically you would use 1 or 2 pairs for the leakage. And also this spectrum FFT. And here's the block diagram of the DAN 3. Not sure if there's anything too interesting here. We have this physical output module, which determines whether you have this even, uneven split or just 1 RF in use. And pretty similar to upstream, we have here 2 individual upstreams. Then this bigger guy, AC 9400, as I explained, it is built on top of a traditional HFC node. So if you already have this AC 9400, it can be directly upgraded to an RPD node by simply replacing the lead. We have these leads as separate items. So you can actually go on the field, take the old lead out, put the RP lead back on, and then you have an RPD node. This AC9400 can also house a second generation DOCSIS chipset. So this comes with more flavors than the DAN3. So here we have different options. We have 1x1, 1x2, 2x2, or even 2x4 service groups. So this is a little more heavyweight, I would say, than the DAN3. So it's basically double the capacity of a DAN3. And since it's still based on this traditional node, here we have integrated optical receivers still, so we have both ways RF overlay if it's still needed for whatever reason. As said, it's a little bit bigger than a DAN3, not too much, but anyhow, a bigger one also comes with a bigger capacity, but this is suitable for some other types of installations. And of course, also here we offer this extended hold-up time. So here's a little bit more in detail this second generation DOCSIS chipset RPD module. Hardware, software fully developed by Teleste, but this features the second generation Broadcom DOCSIS chipset. It's quite similar to the first generation that the DAN3 is based on, but here, of course, the obvious advantages are that we have double the service groups. So we can have 2 service groups downstream and up to 4 service groups for upstream. And then also the number of out-of-band channels have increased in this second generation. Not sure whether you find use for 10 NDF channels, but anyhow, that's what this second generation supports. And here's the block diagram of this AC9400. We still have these optical receivers and transmitters here in place in case those are needed. Then we also have this remote PHY shelf for head-end installations, and this is quite versatile as well. So we have different types of configurations available for this. You can have either these first generation RPD modules or second generation RPD modules. You can choose whether you have 1 or 2 modules per this one rack unit. So depending on your use case, if it's a really small installation, maybe you have somewhere still a big old iron CMTS, but you don't really need all the capacity. So maybe just get these 2 pieces 1 by 1 shelf to replace that one, if it's enough. Or if you need more capacity, then these 2 times 2 by 4. So there are a lot of options to choose from. From functions and features point of view, it's really similar to our other RPD products. So this eats the same software as the nodes, all the features, functions identical to the node models. Power consumption about 100 watts with these 2 times 1 by 2 RPD modules. We have this dual power supply unit option. You can use either 230 AC or 48 DC, and the power supply units, those are hot swappable in this model. Our remote PHY nodes come with a variety of options for powering. So we have this local powered option, we have a couple of those remote power options, and for all of these we include this UPS module to keep the device alive during short power cuts. What we specify and what we promise is that for the device lifetime, this UPS module will keep the device powered in case there's a power cut of 500 milliseconds or less. In typical use cases, the time is longer, but 500 milliseconds is what we can guarantee over the device lifetime. And also with this module comes remote monitoring for the UPS, so you can actually see if there has been a glitch in the network, and also another warnings available. Then few words about this interoperability. Of course, it's a big topic, and we at Teleste, since we do not have our own DOCSIS CCAP, this interoperability has been really a key topic for us. we really take it seriously, because without it, we would not be in this market. We have proven interoperability with all of the major CCAP vendors. And this is quite a bold statement that selecting Teleste as remote PHY node vendor is the best guarantee to avoid one vendor lock-in. But we stand behind that because we do not have our own DOCSIS core. So we really have to work with everyone else. And we have done that. We have many public references and some other references as well. But we have in our lab and also in live installations, we have Cisco CBR8, CommScope E6000, CommScope C100G harmonic cable OS, and also now this CommScope virtual CMTS as well. Although I would say we are now in quite mature phase already regarding this interoperability, since we have installations with all of the CCAP cores, but of course we have to maintain that. So there are still these Cable Labs standards creation and participation events. These days those are now focusing more on DOCSIS 4. There's actually one in a couple of weeks, and Teleste will be present there as well. But as said, we are still maintaining the interoperability. So this is also important that we have these one-to-one agreements with all the major CCAP vendors. So we have their CCAP cores in our lab, and then we have sent our remote PHY nodes to their lab. And whenever there's a new software release or whatever, then we say, hey, here's a new software for you, can you give us your latest one? And that's how we can really keep this and say that Teleste is the best choice to avoid this vendor lock-in, because we work with everyone, and that's a promise. And here is another slide that depicts these different functions and features against different CCAP cores. This is just to show that we really work with everyone. One thing that you might see that we have this VIAVI stuff here that says on demand. That simply means that for those we need a little bit of integration work from all the parties. So let's say we have some customer who uses CommScope and they also want to use VIAVI. Then they inform, okay, we want to use VIAVI, and then we sit down with CommScope and VIAVI to enable that. We have done that with Cisco and Casa, or well, Casa is today CommScope, but anyhow. So those are available on demand. Then I also have added this Vesima virtual CMTS. You might be wondering why it's there when it says only soon on this every slide, but it was announced a little while back that one major North American operator chose Vesima as their vCMTS provider. So of course now we are also eager to get that Vesima integrated with the Teleste RPDs, because we feel like Vesima is also entering the CCAP market. So this is just to show again that we really take this interoperability thing seriously on our end. Some public references I can mention is that we have Liberty Global in Europe. In different countries, they have different CCAP cores in use. Then we have public ones, Teleste Corporation in the Nordic regions. We have some installations in Denmark and Germany too. Then a little bit on future. We don't anymore wonder whether remote PHY will happen. It has happened. We are in there big. We have supplied over 10,000 nodes to Europe alone. Interoperability is proven already, as said. So now we are more wondering what's next, what has been the challenges, etc. Quite the obvious path, what probably every vendor is doing, but of course we are too, moving to DOCSIS 4. So this is now based on the unified silicon design from Broadcom. So it supports both flavors of DOCSIS 4, this 1.8 extended spectrum as well as the full duplex DOCSIS. This is now under development for us. There are some specs, and as you can see, now we can go up to 1.8. Then one challenge or very interesting topic that has emerged with these distributed access installations is now how to handle telemetry, or how to handle amplifier remote management. Typically, you have this sort of, or some HMS system in your traditional network, but now how to bring that into distributed access. There are some commercially available out-of-band gateways that you could use to do this signal conversion from analog to digital and vice versa, and then you would use your existing HMS system. But we feel that that becomes a little bit clunky, especially in bigger networks, in bigger installments. So what we are now developing at full speed, we have some pilot customers already with this, is this what we call VDM, Virtual Device Manager, which is kind of virtual HMS, if you will. So it would act as an auxiliary core towards the RPD. So basically then it could provide all the necessary configuration to the RPD as well as the HMS function itself. And then this VDM could be integrated to the EMS/NMS. In Teleste's case, it's this Argus system. I'm happy to talk more about this too if there's interest, but now it's just a short teaser for this presentation. And that's all I have today. Thank you.